The new Absolute Batman series from DC isn't just a reboot, it's a deliberate attempt to offer fans of all kinds something fresh. DC has hinted that this series would appeal to both new and veteran fans, giving newcomers a jump-in point without making the stories feel rehashed for loyal readers. The creators aimed for a Batman that's recognizable but still feels uncharted. For years, Batman has been portrayed as either a world-weary detective or Gotham's wealthy philanthropist vigilante, but this Batman, he's different. He's got a new origin story, new motivations, and a darker approach that stands out even among DC's grittiest tales. In Absolute Batman, Bruce Wayne is barely 20 years old, which makes this story immediately unique. Gone is the billionaire who can afford the latest tech to support his mission. Instead, this young Bruce comes from a humble background. In this reality, he's not Gotham's wealthy prodigy, but someone who has scraped his way to survival through sheer determination and raw resilience. Unlike classic Batman, who has all the resources he needs, this Bruce has to rely on limited means. His tech is improvised, his weapons are basic, and his fighting style is raw and fierce. He's a Batman without the luxuries, more guerrilla fighter than high-tech crusader. This new Bruce has a history that's a little sketchier than his classic counterpart. He's committed crimes, served time, and trained with martial arts experts around the globe. By the time we meet him in Gotham, he's a hardened vigilante who tackles crime head-on, often in brutal ways that might even shock some Batman fans. Snyder leans into this moral ambiguity, giving Bruce an edge that raises questions about the very nature of justice in Gotham. Is he crossing a line? Is he even concerned with being Gotham's hero? For this Batman, there's no clear-cut line between hero and anti-hero, and that, Snyder suggests, is exactly what Gotham needs. One of the boldest changes here is in Alfred Pennyworth's character. Forget the image of the loyal butler we're all used to. Here, Alfred is a former spy dispatched to Gotham for an investigation who ends up finding Bruce Wayne. Their alliance is more pragmatic than personal, at least at first. Alfred sees potential in this raw, violent young vigilante and realizes that he might actually be an asset in his own line of work. This Alfred doesn't just serve as a mentor, he's a tactical partner. Their relationship is complicated, with layers of mutual respect, curiosity, and even tension, as Alfred seems intrigued, but perhaps even wary, of this unpolished and volatile Batman. Snyder and Dragotta give us a Gotham that's both familiar and totally transformed. The city has that iconic Gothic feel, but it's teeming with new threats and unpredictable dynamics. Old enemies reappear in exaggerated forms like Killer Croc, who's an absolute monster here, built like a tank and notorious for carrying a live crocodile on his shoulder. The result is an environment where every encounter feels surreal and darkly fascinating. Fans of Snyder's Dark Knight's metal will find a similar over-the-top energy here, but in a way that somehow remains grounded in Gotham's gritty reality. It's visually arresting and fits perfectly into this story's dark, almost apocalyptic vibe. Scott Snyder has a distinct style, often filled with dramatic, heavy metal-influenced themes, and he's leaned into that aesthetic with Absolute Batman. Snyder's approach is one where dark visuals and intense action rule the page. Batman's costume is a perfect example. The iconic bat emblem now doubles as the head of an axe, and Batman's whole look is bulked up to feel as raw and imposing as possible. Snyder isn't shy about diving deep into the shadows, delivering a narrative that doesn't hold back on the blood or violence. Fans who've read Dark Knight's metal or death metal will recognize the grim visual cues Snyder loves. This is Batman taken to the extreme, bordering on the brutal in every scene. Nick Dragotta's artwork brings Snyder's vision to life with an unmistakably bold style. Batman's physique is oversized, rugged, and ever so slightly inconsistent, a style choice that doesn't exactly follow the traditional look we're used to. In some panels, Batman looks huge, almost Hulk-like, while in others he appears leaner and more agile. Dragotta's line work gives this story a rough, almost chaotic aesthetic that works well with the gritty tone. This isn't the finely tuned style of Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, but rather a raw, aggressive art form that emphasizes this Batman's unpredictable, volatile nature. One thing that stands out in Absolute Batman is the high level of fan service. From nods to classic characters to iconic locations and organizations within the DC universe, the comic is packed with Easter eggs. But here's the thing, these references often feel like they're simply dropped in without adding much to the actual plot. While fans might enjoy seeing familiar names, the sheer volume of name-dropping can feel a bit distracting. It's clear Snyder wants to honor DC's long-standing mythology, but at times these callbacks seem to clutter rather than enhance the story. So, what's our take on Absolute Batman #1? Well, it's a daring start to what could be an exciting series for those willing to embrace a Batman who's darker, rougher, and maybe even a little uncomfortable to watch. This story has all the elements of an epic. High-stakes action, a complex character arc, and a reimagined Gotham that's both familiar and new. However, for those who value deep storytelling over stylized action, this issue may feel like it lacks in substance. Snyder and Dragotta are setting the stage, so hopefully future issues will dig deeper into character development and emotional depth. It's a roller coaster ride, no doubt, but whether it's a masterpiece or just a spectacle depends on where Snyder and Dragotta take it next. Alright, that's it for our deep dive into Absolute Batman #1. This series is an ambitious attempt to reimagine one of the world's most iconic heroes, and it's already got us hyped for what's to come. What did you think of Snyder's take? Are you a fan of this darker, grittier Batman, or do you prefer the classic detective we know and love? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you'd like us to cover next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for updates on all things DC, comics, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next video.